Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Karen Lavenderclothesline, and as you can tell, we are in the car again. I am always on the road. So today I'm going to bring you thrifting with me. We are going over to Shillington, Pennsylvania. This is the big Goodwill that I try to get to at least once, if not twice a week. I find really good items there, but even better, I get to meet up with some of you guys and some other resellers and just have a great time. I love thrifting here. All right. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's go thrifting in Shillington, Pennsylvania. Okay, so as you can see, we are starting down the brown aisle, and immediately I see this beautiful jar. This is spalted wood, and I recognize that right away. My girlfriend Stephanie taught me about this. Underneath marks spalted maple. I'm not sure the spelling of that. Could be a T instead of a D. But this is wood that has been colonized by a fungi, I believe, and it causes these dark striations in the wood. I love spalted wood. Now, furniture is questionable if it's made from that wood because of the integrity of the wood, but small decorative pieces, absolutely yes. Here I thought this plaque was cool, but then I saw it was just a mass-marketed piece, and I wasn't quite sure what that meant. Is that alpha? Not quite sure. Okay, how sweet is this salt and pepper shaker set? Although the little jar I would think is sugar, and this is either the salt or the pepper. I think it's the pepper, and we're missing the salt. Darn. Not saying this would bring a high amount, but I thought this was really cute. Little Missouri set. And I will be on the hunt for the salt shaker and then come back to that one. So this day, the store was quite crowded, and I got to meet up with lots of you. Got to see my friend Jeff, who is a reseller, and I also met a new gentleman whose name was Gordon. Gordon is a wealth of information. I could have stood there and talked to Gordon all day long, and I'm hoping to meet up with him again. I love meeting other resellers and other people who have the interest and the life love of thrifting. No plans on buying this. I was just being nosy, and he did have a few chips. This clock was vintage. Is this Holly Hoppy or is this Precious Moments? I think it's Holly Hoppy. Made in USA, but I left that behind. I think the value on that is probably under $10. And even though I'm not picking up larger items, I always look at the top shelf. And this candle holder was beautiful. I judge these on whether the hanging crystals are plastic or acrylic or if they're glass. So that is my main purpose of tapping and looking at this. And these are made of glass. Just beautiful. Kind of like in an antique garnet color. I really would have loved a second one. It's hard finding singles sometimes, although if it's a good item, I'd go ahead and pick up the single anyway. I'm not sure where that was sold originally. That could even be Pier 1 imports, but again, glass crystals, yes. Further down the aisle, I see these brass candlesticks, and these were kind of conundrum to me. Now, I have seen a ton of brass candlesticks, but these were interesting because they had like a porcelain piece, I don't know what to call that, in between. And I don't think I've ever seen that. And while I liked them, one was very crooked. So I left that behind, but I'm going to do some research on that to see how common that is, to have a porcelain inserted in the middle. Okay. This I know right away is not worth much money. Celadon green planter. As you guys know, I'm a master gardener, so pots and planters are a big part of my life, especially during the gardening season. And I move right on to a handmade wooden toy plane made by Todd. Good job, Todd. And while this does have a little bit of a chip on that center knob, holding the propeller on, I do put that right in my cart to give that thought. So normally while thrifting, I check for flaws while I'm looking at the item while I'm filming it, but that has become really difficult, especially with a lot of people in this store. So now when I think I might be purchasing an item, I do go ahead and put it in my cart and then check everything over at the end. That way I'm not wasting a lot of time looking for flaws if they're tiny. This piece, what is this, guys? I had no idea, so leave a comment down below if you know what that wooden piece was. It's amazing how many pieces I still know nothing about. Now this little horse cologne decanter, I was pretty sure this was Avon. Once again, Goodwill puts the sticker right over it. And while I didn't feel positive that that was Avon, I do leave that behind, but I thought that was really cute. I think I also find the most interesting items on the brown aisle. This is Lang Candle Primitives. And I did feel the weight to it. Unfortunately, the candle was quite used. I do like the different Primitive Company decor items. I like Primitives by Kathy, I think it is. I'll take a look at those. And while I would have picked this up just for the box, if the box was wooden, I would have taken it. Cardboard, not so much. Now we can see this little woven basket made in China. But absolutely, yes, I love this beaded pattern. I love the color of this. It's like a lacquered wood wicker beaded piece. And here we're going to take a look at the price, $2.99. And I thought that was really sweet. I think that fits into a lot of decor styles. So now I'm just finishing this aisle with looking at this wood jar missing its top. Again, very interesting. These plastic beads, I think they were plastic, are inserted right into the wood, and next to it, this primitive style mug that was marked. I think that just says pottery. I'm not quite sure. I could have gotten that wrong. I do like when the handle has a thumb recession for holding your coffee. And again, single mugs. I'm behaving myself and I put it back. And now we are starting the sunny yellow aisle. You guys know I love the yellow aisle because it's so cheery. This bottle was pretty. Unfortunately, it does have a crack. But I liked this daisy violets pattern, sunflowers. Not quite sure what the pattern was. And then I'm right on to a banana. There is so much to look at in this thrift store. Again, this is Shillington, Pennsylvania. Very large thrift stores, probably one of the biggest that I go to. I do get to this store, like I mentioned, probably 1 or 2 times a week, and I meet up with a lot of friends. I just have an all-around good time in this store. Okay, we know what I'm thinking here. Still hoping for Glassy Baby, which we've all heard Goodwill is pulling off the shelves. They're not even putting them out because it is such a good profit capability, but you never know. One could slip through, so hopefully one day I'll find my first Glassy Baby. I thought this piece was interesting. You can see it's molded from clay. Could have been handmade and painted gold. I thought this would be adorable in one of those miniature gnome gardens, but I don't have one of those. So I'm right on to this little keepsake porcelain box or dish. These are quite popular in my store. I think people really like these. They're just pretty, good for keeping earrings or any little doodads in. And I put that right in my cart. So of course it causes me to look at this little keepsake box. I think this might be either soapstone, alabaster, not quite sure. Onyx, maybe? And I liked that rose pattern on top. Items like that are a no-brainer. At $2 or $3 a piece, I can always flip those for 10 to 12, I'm gonna say. This was a wooden cat. He was kind of cute, but I felt like he was really for the souvenir trade and didn't have a lot of unique expression on his face. Turkey plates. Thanksgiving is probably one of the holidays that I pick up the least amount for. I don't feel a lot of buyers specifically look for Thanksgiving items, besides cooking items, as much as they do for Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day and the like. Here is a pottery piece that caught my attention. And I thought this was quite well done. So to me, it's not a new artist. I wasn't sure if this was mass produced because there's no signature on the bottom that I saw. $3.99. So I do figure I'm going to put this right in my cart because I like the hummingbird pattern. I liked the colorway. And then this vase catches my attention. Kind of like an Asian flair to it. And of course, I'm trying to read the language on the bottom, and most of it is in English, thank goodness. So it does have a signature, and I didn't feel this would bring, any kind of money of note. Okay, I knew this was FTD, and I have to say a lot of their vases catch my attention. So I really have to start looking up if there are FTD vases that bring good money, but I don't think so. But that's something I do have to look up. Now this copper set was just copper coated. It almost seemed like a copper painting. But if that was solid copper, I would have picked that up. I do think the sugar jar was missing its lid. I don't usually buy a lot on the orange aisle. I do look for Halloween items all year long, and I will list Halloween items all year long. As I've shared with you guys, I list everything all year long. So if I buy winter boots in the summer, I list them. That's because my store subscription, my eBay store subscription, gives me 10,000 listings. Okay, this is quite pretty. I can see somebody else has peeled off the price sticker looking for the maker, and from first glance, it looks like there's no damage, and I really liked the color of this piece. It does have some gold paint wear, but I thought this was in good enough condition. I believe this is a vase made in Germany. Two-handled vase right in the cart. Somehow, magically, we are back on the yellow aisle. Egyptian type pieces are not something I pick up too often. They're very slow movers for me. But we all know the story with single mugs. I need to see everyone. I would love to know if there are eBay sellers just selling single mugs and making, a full-time living. Wouldn't that be amazing? Here's a little sugar creamer set. I knew this wasn't something that I would pick up, but I thought this was quite sweet. There is the gravy boat. Many times the dishes that I do look at, I'm picking up just these service pieces. So a sugar creamer, a gravy boat, a platter, vegetable casserole dishes, things like that. Here I'm finding this southwestern vase. I will pick these up if they seem vintage and older. That one did not seem of great quality. Southwestern items, Aztec items, things like that do bring very good money for me. I think this one is just Edwin Knowles. Let me see if I can read that. Edwin Knowles. Made in the USA. Very pretty. I want these to be a thing. I want the shabby chic dishes to come back, all the pretty dishes. But unfortunately, those type of things sit in my store way too long. I love that many of you commented that your thrift stores are not separated by color, but rather by type of item. I kind of enjoy things separated by color. I don't know why. I just feel like it gives me more focus for some reason. It feels calmer with, having a lot on the shelves. Sometimes it can feel chaotic. But most times when I go down a certain color aisle, I know what I'm looking for. So on the green aisle, mostly I'm looking for planters, for green glass, different patterned dishes that I know about that are in green. So you can see it does give my shopping focus. I try to stay really focused with how much I shop. When I'm filming, sometimes it takes away from the focus. So any little trick I can use, I do. Here I'm finding, now this is a multicolored, I'm just going to call this Italian pottery. Love, 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 triple love this, just beautiful. and I was pretty sure this had no damage, so in the cart it goes. I would love to find multiple pieces of that. And now looking up, right away I spot this Italian art glass ruffled edge vase. It's kind of like a fan shape. And while I'm running my finger along the top edge of it, because that would be the most common place for damage, I do spot a little bit of damage, very slight on the base. So I do contemplate this for a while. And truth be told, I put it back, I took it, I put it back, I took it. And in the end, I do wind up buying it because it is so pretty. Now, I didn't see a maker associated with that, like L.E. Smith or, similar. But I felt like that was just such a beautiful green color. I have a tendency to like the emerald green color over the avocado green. I don't even know if that's the right color term. But when looking at green, I have a tendency to look for emerald green or jewel green in glassware. Here I'm spotting two little teapots in the shape of a heart. I believe this was ceramic over metal or enamel over metal. Unfortunately, the bunny one was missing its top. I do take both. They are both marked at $2.99 in hopes of getting a lower price for the topless one, but unfortunately, Goodwill said no, that they would just throw it out. What? I would gladly pay half price, and they weren't having any of it, so I just took the one. Here I'm spotting a Humpty Dumpty resin figure on the top shelf, which was quite interesting. And while kind of looking at him or starting to look at him, I do run into a new friend in the thrift store, Jeff, who is also a reseller. I asked if he wanted to be on film, and he said, no, thank you. But we did hang out for a few minutes and talk about what we were finding. Okay, so here is a shot of me going back to the green glass. I had put it back and then quickly ran back. And I'm really looking at the bottom to say, okay, how bad is this chip? See it there? It's tiny. And when you put it down, you don't even see it. And that's what caused me to pick this up. I don't like to pick up a lot of items that have damage. I try not to. But I really felt this was so pretty. And I was so glad that it was still there because I had left it on the shelf for a whole 2 minutes. And I thought somebody else would have taken it. And now we are on to the boring white aisle, but I do spot this beautiful swan. This has a beautiful iridescence to the glaze, but I'm noticing that it does have some black spotting, and I'm not quite sure if it's under the glaze or on top of it. As you can see, the bottom is quite dirty too. And under further investigation, I realized that this is not spotting on top of it that can be washed off, but rather under the glaze somehow. At first I thought it might have been part of the design, but I don't think so. So sadly, I put her back, but look how pretty she is. I would have definitely grabbed her if she was in better condition. There's the top test for this little jute box. Did I want to ship that? Absolutely not. Stagecoach has seen better days. Somebody's shell collection. Here my eye is spotting a piece of pottery. I think it's pottery. So I move the wooden plate and look at the rock to this. So this is a piece that is just mass marketed. May poison food, yikes. I don't even know if I'd want that in my house. But I found it interesting that it had a round bottom. It did look a little bit older. I think it was meant to look that way, but it did have some age to it. I guess there was a piece missing that piece of pottery would sit in. And here is the mystery of the day. I love this wood urn. At first I thought it was for tobacco, and then seeing this little cup, which was too small to be a shot glass, I thought maybe it had something to do with a beverage. And now I am uncertain of what this is altogether. Now there could have been pieces missing, but look how beautifully made this was. This was turned on a lathe, and I believe somebody made this. So now I'm going to try all the different ways to figure out what this piece is. And while looking at it, my friend Jeff came around the corner and I said, "Hey Jeff, do you know what this piece is?" And he winds up coming over. Now he didn't want to be on film, on camera, but he and I were trying to figure it out. And first he thought it was a decanter, you know, that you would put liquid in. But I didn't think that was correct. So there's Jeff's hand. He's looking at it, trying to figure it out. And we're going over all the scenarios. Okay, you can't keep liquid in it because it's not lined with a, you know, with a liquid safe liner. Here he's demonstrating pouring. And then I thought maybe the top piece was a pipe that you did keep tobacco in it, but the mouth of this jar is not really big enough to get tobacco out of. Can I just tell you that this is a favorite pastime of mine? I would love to see a whole TV show about what did I find and what is the use. Maybe they've already made that. But I thought that would be great fun. I love when I don't know something about an item I find, which is quite often, and I ask you guys, and you guys are on it. So here we're discussing the size of the cup, and we both came to no conclusion. Jeff was like, "There you go." So I did put it back, but if you guys know what this is, would you leave a comment down below? Recently I posted about a wood animal and you guys all guessed correctly. It was a warthog from a Disney movie, from The Lion King, and it was crazy how many of you guys replied back. So thank you so much for when you guys join in. Here is a wood tray made in Japan, which signifies that it's vintage. I would have grabbed this if it didn't have scratching on the surface. Now, could somebody have wanted it? Maybe, but I really wanted that without any scratches to it. So I do put that piece back. Here's a student piece of pottery. I do find a lot of student pottery in the thrift stores. So it's great that that many people are, you know, participating in that craft. This is a crock club. I would think that might be a subscription service for cheese spreads. Just a guess. Look at the color on this beautiful domed glass dish. Oh, I love this thing. So here I start to look for damage, and I'm just in love with this piece. Now these might be common. I don't know that I've seen this color too many times, and I don't know if the color is translating clear on my video. Let's see if it changes once I get this annoying piece of tape off. So I do bring it out. Again, this was more like an aqua turquoisey blue. I think it's translating to like a more of a royal blue. And I do put it in my cart, but spoiler alert, it did have damage. I was so sad. But we continue down the blue aisle. Somebody visited Seattle and got the mug. This piece caught my eye. I think this was a top to a jar. And it might have been missing something in that middle finial diadem thing. I don't even know what the proper term for that is. I really love the blue aisle. I wish I found more vintage items on the blue aisle. Here's just a little box. This is contemporary. These little keepsake boxes are fun to find and to sell. They don't bring a high dollar profit. So you can see my buy-in price is $1.99. I'm thinking maybe $12, somewhere around there. And I never mind doing that kind of sale. No, I don't want my whole eBay store to be that price point. But since I'm in the thrift stores, since that'll take me a minute or two to list, I go ahead and do low dollar items for people that might be in that price bracket of what they have to spend. Okay, I love, triple love this dish. I was trying to think of where I would use it in my house, but truth be told, I have too much stuff on my desk and my dressers. So I do leave it behind, but look how pretty this is. Great for soaps, small soaps, or change, or I don't know, your rings when you do dishes. I can always find an excuse for another pretty dish. The crop catches my attention, but right away I realize that this is very contemporary, not well done. But checking everything out is part of the learning process. The more you turn over items and look at items in the thrift store, the more you're going to know about what to pick up and what not to. Again, I thought this was very contemporary, and it is. It is Yankee candle. Must be a wax warmer. Wax melts, maybe they're called. This vase was huge. It almost had like an Art Deco look to it, but it was contemporary. And now I come down another white aisle, and I'm noticing these cat mugs. I did not take time to peel off the sticker because I was running late and I felt like I just wanted to film these. Again, this is Shillington, Pennsylvania. If anybody wants these cat mugs, spoiler alert, I did not pick these up, but for your viewing pleasure, I do organize them for some reason. I really had the need to see them all together. There, that's better. Peeling a piece of tape off the shelf. And $1.99 each, I think, is quite high. Goodwill used to group like items together and sell them as a lot. And that was a win-win for everybody because the buyer wound up saving a little bit of money. Goodwill will get rid of all of the items, and it's just a better model in my opinion. But now they are pricing every individual thing separately. Even if you have like a salt and pepper shaker, yeah, they're both sold separately. Crazy. So even though I go down the aisles, completely, new carts of inventory do come out. So sometimes when I see a cart spend a lot of time on a certain color aisle, I will give that aisle a second look. So this is the red aisle. Now I'm not spotting, new things that came out, but I do want to check everything out. Those are 2 wall sconces. I didn't think they were especially good. There is a huge pink lamp up there, but first I look at this plasticware. You'd be surprised, a lot of plastic or acrylic cups, outdoor dining can bring very good money, especially the vintage ones. But we all know that vintage almost always brings, some kind of money because people remember them from their childhood or their family. So sometimes it's just the sentimental value. But for items like that, I always run comps. There's a little granny doll hiding. She was a wood statue. I wanted to see what she was about. Another doll to play with. Oh, she has wheels. So you put batteries in her and she scoots across the floor. How fun is that? Her skirt was quite dirty, quite dingy. She must have been doing a lot of dancing. But look how fun this is. And that could have been worth a lot of money, and I could have lost out because I did not comp that. Many days I don't put down the camera to comp things. I'm just filming and trying to use my judgment. My eye spots this overly large glass bowl. Ugh. This is made in Spain, and I don't think this type of glass would bring more than, I'm going to say, $15 to $20. So for the work involved with packing and shipping, that's a hard no for me. It is pretty. I think it's recycled glass. But again, to get that safely to a buyer is a real trick. So now I'm getting really hungry for lunch, and I spot a handsome man checking comps on his phone with a cart full of clothing. Look at that smile. Swoon. Roger is great. He always lets me dig through his cart. If he finds anything that I would look for, he puts it in his cart. And here he is just intent on comping a pair of ski pants or snowboarding pants. And I am digging through his cart. He picked up this athletic jacket for me. And he picked up this LL Bean thermal, which I thought was really good. So here we're just talking about finding this Berg house and whether we had heard of it before. I have to say, dating a reseller, this is the first time in my life I have dated a reseller, and I am learning so much. So it's a win-win for both of us. The only problem is that when we go to lunch, we have to just shut off the resellers in us just to be able to talk about something other than reselling. So in the next part of this video, I'm going to include a little footage of an Italian restaurant that Roger brought me to. It was so delicious. I had eggplant parmesan and he had chicken parmesan. So we both started to head up to the register to check out and go to lunch. And then I proclaimed, oh, the linens aisle. I just have to do the linens aisle. We do this all day long. We both proclaim that we're done, and then we wind up wanting to go down more aisles. Very hard to leave the thrift store when you're finding good items. Here I was just looking at a few plush throws, and my eye spots this gorgeous plush throw. Right away I know this is Vera Bradley. Look how pretty this is. So I do check it over thoroughly. It's in great condition. I will bring this home and give it a good washing, and even pre-owned, these can bring, I'm going to say $25 to $35. So there's the Vera Bradley tag, and I absolutely love this colorway and this print. How pretty. And now I'm just going to give you a little video footage of the Italian restaurant that Roger took me to for lunch. Like I said, the food was really good. I have never been in this restaurant before. This is, okay, I'm going to try to pronounce it, Buca di Beppo, something like that. This restaurant was great fun. Every room was decorated with big graphic prints of different, just fun Italian scenes and craziness. I think these women are having a spaghetti eating contest. We had a great time. So here I'm just walking around with the GoPro to show you guys what the rooms look like. There's Roger sitting there waiting for me. This man is so patient. The restaurant was quite empty, I have to say, but their takeout business is crazy good. They sell like family style lasagna for like 5 people or 8 people. Yes, please. All right, guys, so I'm just going to end this video with a few shots of the different rooms. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. Thank you to everybody who comes up to me in the thrift store and says hello and just gives me words of encouragement. I love all you guys. I hope you're finding great things in the thrift store. I hope you're making lots of profit on whatever platform you sell on. And as always, go out and get what's yours.